Hope you all are having a wonderful day. I thought that today we would go over the Kentucky Administrative Regulations again. I had reviewed the regulations, and so far I have found nothing different. So I thought we would go ahead and go over those again. Now, as you see here in Kentucky, TCMs help. Now, this is by definition of the KAR. They help people access services and support systems in their own community. Some of the things that we help with are, first of all, identifying needs. That begins the process. We assess them with our exhaustive comprehensive needs assessment in regards to medical, social, and functional status. This allows us to identify their strengths and their needs. We follow this up with connecting them with services that apply to medical, social, educational, and other services. Now, it doesn't exactly go into details about what other services means. So that part is kind of open to interpretation a bit. We can also help clients navigate the process of requesting services and connecting with health insurance providers. We also advocate for our clients. What advocating might look like to you is, for instance, have you ever called a service about a client who had difficulties understanding perhaps what is offered by this service provider? That would be a form of advocating. We also monitor their services and make sure that, first of all, they've been connected with the correct one, and secondly, that they are making progress. And of course, huge is our documentation. We do we maintain and we prepare and maintain our case record documentation, which can include care plans, forms, reports, and narratives. Now, the legislature often passes this broad legislation, as I mentioned earlier, that establishes our regulatory scheme. It is left to Kentucky's administrative agencies to flesh out the laws and carry out the will of the legislature. They do this by promulgating our regulations. Now, regulations have the same force and effect as any other law passed by the legislature. You can find our specific case manager KAR regulations at 908 KAR 2260, starting with eligibility and training. Now, what do we do according to the KAR? We provide the services, as mentioned. We perform the comprehensive assessment and periodic reassessments to determine the need for additional medical, social, educational, or other services. We develop and revise a specific care plan for the recipient of the services. We provide resources or make referrals, and we follow up on these resources and referrals. We make connections with collaterals. We give information that we are permitted to give about the client's condition, treatment, or change in their needs. We, of course, maintain records. Now, also, something that we may want to keep in mind is that you can look at your TRIS and see your CEUs. So let's say, for instance, one year you do a CEU on substance use disorders and pregnancy, like we did this year. And then next year, you're thinking, did I do mine on this, on the pregnancy and SUD? You can look on your TRIS and actually see, helpfully, oh, this is my, yeah, I actually did do a CEU on that one already. That's very helpful, I think. Also, if you ever want a copy of your supervision documentation, I can provide that to you. One of the things you may have noticed, if we discuss in individual supervision a particular specific cases, specific clients, by virtue of maintaining confidentiality, I do not discuss the names or any identifying from if I can absolutely avoid it, any identifying information about the client. That is intentional, because if the supervision documentation is requested in an audit, I do not want them to be able to look at that and say, oh, okay, they were discussing John Doe, when John Doe may not have been one of their one of the people that they have as a client. Like, for instance, let's say we get an audit from WellCare, and WellCare says, I would like to have all of the supervision information for James. Okay, and say that James and I last month discussed a client that was not a WellCare patient. Rather, they were an Aetna patient. We would not want WellCare to be able to see the name or identifying information of someone who isn't theirs. So we do not put that information into supervision notes. That is one of the ways that I protect the client's privacy. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.